Well, hello. I've just driven 50 miles from Houston and I landed here in my studio in Galveston. Here we are. This is usually what I see when I walk in the door, and I'm so happy to be here. This is my art space. I wanted to offer workshops here, but now with the virus, everything's going to go online. So let me take you around and show you what's hanging on the walls. This is my little rabbit corner. You'll see lots of animal pictures in my studio because I do like to paint animals. And I've tried different styles, but mostly I like to work very colorful and very gestural. This one was inspired by being out at night and seeing the moon and the stars. But this one has a whole lot of shimmer to it. This is an older painting of mine that came to the studio from a while ago. I was painting abstracts and I was also working with fabric, so there's a hint of a quilt feel to it, quilting material. So I was inspired by fabrics and sewing and combining different patterns. Here's the kitchen, and I have one of my abstract collages that I did after I came back from Santa Fe, and there's a painting I'll show you that I painted from this collage. So a lot of times I will make collages with mixed media, and those become inspiration for other pieces. Here's the bathroom. There's a butterfly on the wall in the bathroom. I took a workshop with Jenny Doe, and we did some abstract and some realism paintings, and I like the combination of the two styles. So this came from her class, and ever since I took Jenny's class, I've really enjoyed abstraction and realism together in one painting, blending the two together. So this is the living area of the studio. And here on the wall, above my high-tech stereo system, are some drawings that I did. And it's been quite a while. I did these back in 2007. And I wanted to give myself the challenge of drawing realistically. So I chose portraits, and I chose people who I admire the most. And if you don't recognize, it's Georgia O'Keeffe, the artist, and the Dalai Lama. Over here, my paintings are inspired. It was spring break, and I was taking my dog for a walk in the woods, and we had a drought, so a lot of the trees, branches were very stark from the drought, so I was inspired to paint from the shapes. Again, it's a combination of abstraction and realism that shows up in my paintings. So here's my workspace, and I'm so grateful to have this space. Before I left, before all this COVID came up, I was working on abstract landscapes. And if you remember the collage I showed you when I got here, or at the beginning of this video, that's the painting that resulted from the collage. And then there's some smaller paintings on the easel. These are inspired by a trip to New Mexico, and that's really where my art took off. In 1977, I think it was, I was in Santa Fe for 6 weeks, and it was an art workshop, and it totally changed my life. These are my feather paintings. Gone through a stage of doing these, and I've got a series of these. They're done with watercolor on Yupo paint. Actually, that one's upside down. There's another painting from Santa Fe, or inspired by New Mexico. And currently, it looks like a hot mess, and here's a sketch. It also looks like a hot mess. But these are inspired by the shrimp boats over on the harbor, by the harbor. So there are a lot of rusty shrimp boats, and it's the harbor walk, and I get inspired by the water, so I've been doing these abstract pieces. Watched the Kentucky Derby once and wanted to do a painting of a horse after that. Here's my dolphin swimming. Again, here's some abstractions that are just color studies that I really enjoyed working with a limited palette of turquoise, purple, and gray. So I did a series of those. And while I was at home during the lockdown, I couldn't get here to the studio, so I did a lot of sketching in my sketchbook. And this is one that came about since all of the Black Lives Matter protests have been happening. So that's the rundown of the studio so far. This is my studio mate's corner. And here I have a little desk. Here's Whitney's book. I've been working with Whitney Freya as a certified coach with her. It's been an astounding experience. I may have mentioned it already, but it's worth mentioning again. Here's an example where I had a collage. I don't know if you could see it too well because of the lighting, but I did this collage, mixed media, and then I ended up painting the artwork, or painting, oops, can't see it too good because of the idea of it. So again, combination of abstraction and realism. So I'm up here on the 5th floor, staying put. Here's my art table, the way I left it. As you can tell, I really like paintbrushes, so I've got a lot of collection of paintbrushes, which is odd because mostly I use sponge brushes when I'm doing mixed media. So yeah, this is how I left it a couple weeks ago, and I just got back. I just wanted to give you a tour of my loft, of my studio, invite you in. Wish you could come in, hang out, have a cup of tea. Oh, let me end with this little piece. This is another mixed media collage from quite a while ago. It's probably about 15 years old, and she was sort of my muse for creativity. So thanks for coming to my studio. Stay tuned for more videos. I enjoyed having you. Bye.